Hey fam, what's up, what's up, what's up? This is Robert Anton here, robertanton.com. I am coming to you with your no frills commentary for The Voice. This is the Auditions episode 2, right? And it was kind of long. It was a 2-hour show, so I'm going to try to, I think, jump through and not do all of the people who performed, but I will try to touch on some points where I have some things that I want to talk about. Also, there will be more information in the description box for people who want to take a look and saw who did what and what happened to who. All right, so there we go. They opened the show by playing a review of last night's performances, and then the coaches did their Prince medley, right? And they started with 1999, and Ceelo was looking crazy. I wrote this in a red, like, sequin outfit. It looked like a one-piece, I don't know, but it was just crazy. I like the vocal blend a lot on the first song, actually. And then Ceelo came out front to do Little Red Corvette, and Levine pulled out some falsetto to lead I Wanna Be Your Lover. Yeah, so, you know, it was pretty good, and we won't forget that Blake Shelton did Kiss in the lower register. He didn't pull out no falsetto, and it was kind of like in a bluesy country kind of musical backing was going on, which is, it was different, you know, and it was nice, and it fit his voice very well. So actually making a song your own, when you look at that song and the way he performs, he really made it his own. He set it to his own style, which was very nice to see one of the judges, you know, kind of showing us how to do it instead of just telling. Yeah, I just wrote that I love this medley and performance and that they really rocked it. First up for the auditions was Hailey and Leland. They would call themselves The Line, and they did American Girl. Yeah, Blake chimed in first, let me say that, because they did have a good sound. I liked their sound together, and the rest of the judges were like vibing on the song or whatnot, but it took them a long time to chime in. I was like, is anybody else going to hit their button? So they all finally hit their buzzers, and the group went with Christina as their coach. I wasn't sure it was the right choice for their sound and vibe. I thought they probably should have went with Blake, but we'll see how it turns out. Jamar Rogers, 29, did Seven Nation Army. He had a great story and a great voice. The judges were slow to chime in, but Ceelo was the one he wanted, and he's the only one who chimed in. Up next was Neal Middleton, 33. He did I Heard It Through the Grapevine. And, you know, I wrote he came out strong and he had a decent, like, gruffness to his voice, but he lacked, like, a finesse. He didn't have, it was all like one blah, 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 blah. He didn't bring anything down. He didn't caress anything. He didn't really do anything with the song, especially the higher falsetto-y notes. He didn't really work with them. So I wasn't crazy about him, and none of the judges chimed in for him. Then they showed like 3 more people who the judges didn't chime in for. And you know what? They were all pretty good. And I was like, wow, they passed them up. So it is going to be tough on people on The Voice, okay? Because they got a lot of talent coming. I think they know that this was invited auditions, so they know there are a lot of great people that they're going to be hearing. So I think they're being very, very extra selective. Gwen Sebastian was up next. She's 37. She did Stay by Sugarland, and she had a very country voice coming out. The first thing that I thought, and I was like, yeah, she's a Blake person. Immediately I was like, she's a Blake person, and he was the first one to turn his chair around. Then Ceelo chimed in, and finally Adam. So I liked how she was so tender and loving with the song. I wrote that it seemed very personable, and it was very enjoyable to watch and listen to just the way that she emoted the song, which is so beautiful. She chose Blake, and I think that was the perfect choice and the perfect match for her. Pamela Rose, 28, did Already Gone, Kelly Clarkson, and there was something about her voice that wasn't that great, and the judges were hurt when they didn't turn around because she was kind of hot, you know? Especially Ceelo was like, oh my God. Yeah, but none of them chimed in for her, and they passed her up, and they said it was about her pitch, and I could really hear that. Kim Yarbrough was now up next. It looks like I'm doing everybody anyway, so we'll just see how long this video is going to be, and if it's too long, tell me later on. But I'm trying to give you as much information as I can and what I really thought of the performances. So Kim Yarbrough was next. She was 50. She did Tell Me Something Good, and you know, I was already prepared for this because they played this on the previews, you know, the commercials and stuff. Chaka, and she had it going on. She looked like Chaka. She's a little bigger than Chaka, but you know, the hair and everything, the image was very much Chaka Khan. I think when she started out, she was a little overdone. She like took it, you know, and kind of messed it up a little bit. But then she gave it more style and more playfulness and fierceness, and I just loved it. Adam and then Christina chimed in, and she asked them what type of vocalist they saw her as. Now, this is one of the ways that you can choose your coach, I believe. You know, how do you see me as a vocalist? Next up, Angie Johnson. She did Heartbreaker, Benatar, and I remembered her as soon as I saw them play her YouTube clip. Went from her singing with her with the Army band or the Navy band or the I forget what it was, right? But I remembered her immediately, and I was like, oh my God, that's her, and I was so excited for her. So she did Heartbreaker, right? And I thought immediately that it was a wrong, remembering her voice and remembering the video, I thought it was totally the wrong choice for her voice. That I'll say that straight up front. I thought it was a bad song choice for her to first be introduced to the judges. But she chose the song. Besides that being the bad choice for her, she still killed it. She did a great performance, and Ceelo chimed in. He was the only one to chime in. Of course, she had to go with him. But I think if she'd have picked a better song, even if she had done the song from the video, that she would have gotten all 4 judges to chime in, and she could have had a choice of who she wanted. But I believe that we're going to see a lot from her. She had a great, great sound. Take 13. Next up was Des Duran. He did I Want It That Way, Backstreet Boys, right? He had a good sound, and he made the song more soulful than the original, right? But the judges, they seemed to be vibing on him, but no one chimed in for him, and I was like, what the heck? So they had all kind of excuses why they didn't chime in for him, and Christina kept hitting the button like, can I try again? Can I just... But what Adam said was they hadn't heard a bad singer all day, and it was hard to choose. So I think they're starting to kind of not trust their ears, you know, like, is this really good enough? And you know, there's a lot of good people that have gone through. Yes, there are. But I think they've also passed over quite a few good people. I hope he gets a chance to come back in a wild card, because he was, I mean, just everything about his voice was on point. He had good pitch, he was soulful, he had good clean riffs. I mean, just everything was there. Next up, Lindsay Pavale, 22. I did Say I by Trey Songz. You know, and I didn't recognize the song as a Trey Songz. I didn't recognize it, you know, and I was like, what is this song? And then like about 20 seconds in, I was like, oh, okay. So I was like kind of blown away by that. She reminded me quite a bit of Dia and Senya from last season. So I thought she was gonna go with Blake. First Christina chimed in, and then Ceelo, and then Blake. So I was like, yeah, Blake chimed in, right? Then she dropped some words, and I guess it was probably for being just a little bit excited. She came right back in and did her thing. But she chose Christina as her coach. Joja Lopez was next, 25. She did Teenage Dream, and she sounded totally different singing than when she was talking, right? Even the accent was different, and she sounded good, but she seemed to start losing confidence as none of the judges chimed in. She kind of like, and she didn't end as good as she started. I thought she was good enough for them to chime in, and they didn't. Another one that they passed by. Jermaine Paul was next. He was 33. They Complicated, Avril Lavigne. He had a nice sound and picked a song that was out of the box, right? I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And it was very intense. I mean, just crazy. So Ceelo chimed in first, and then Blake. Just his performance, I thought he was often a little too rough. But he had a lot of passion, you know, and it was very intense. His performance was very intense. And one thing is, like, at the end when the judges were like kind of fighting over him, and he was like, he asked a bunch of questions like, well, what can you do for me? And one of my Twitter followers said, you know, he was very cocky. I didn't like that and stuff. But I think any of the people auditioning should know ahead of time like what kind of questions they should ask in order to pick the judge that they think is going to be best for them and for their career. Because let's face it, this is about their career. Even if they don't become the winner, and only one person can win, each one can further their career by one being on the show, by doing well, and by making the connections that they're going to make with the judges or the coaches that they're going to work with. And more than likely, that coach should be in a genre that you want to work in and have the kind of reach and the kind of artist friends that you would like to be a part of, kind of that clique that you would like to be a part of. So I thought that he did very good in that. One thing though that's crazy to me that they're having so much professional talent on The Voice is someone mentioned that this guy had been nominated for a Grammy. He's been nominated for 2 Grammys. And I'm like, wow, how come he's on The Voice and he's been nominated for Grammys? And some people are already signed to contracts, some people are touring. Yeah. Tell me what you think about that. The Voice is supposed to be finding the best voice in America, and yeah, it's mostly people who are already signed or already have contracts or already have been under contract. Next and last was Angela Taylor. She was 23. She sung an Adele song, Someone Like You. And I wasn't sure what to think of this performance in the beginning. It was a little breathy and kind of all over the place for me. Adam seemed to chime in reluctantly at first, and then she hit a better part. She hit the chorus, and it was better for her voice, and she did sound better. Still not as good as some of the people that they had passed up already. Then Blake chimed in, and finally Ceelo chimed in. She chose Adam. I thought for her that was the best choice for one reason, and that's because he kind of, at first he said, he actually said, you know, it was kind of out there at first, but he heard potential in her vocal, and that's why he wanted to get in there first, and he chimed in first. Because he believed in her, yeah, I think that is a good reason to go with a judge, because I just didn't think she was that great, and I thought that they passed up some people who were a lot better than her. She had a good story and everything, but I don't think they know those stories ahead of time like they do like on American Idol. But yeah, whatever. Tell me what you thought of the show, what you thought of the performances, who you thought was the best. And I really want you guys to chime in and tell me what you think about there being so many already signed artists and for them inviting all of these professional performers to come and perform for their show or to audition and to compete on The Voice. Yeah, this is Robert Anton, robertanton.com. Also, make sure to tell me if you think that this commentary is too short or too short. Or too long. I'm out. See you next week. Oh, actually, I should see you guys Wednesday night for American Idol. Peace.